Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tito Clock. So please welcome your host, James Deacon.
What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Tito Clock and it's Tito James here with the rest of the crew all the way through till 6 p.m. tonight. How are you doing, folks? Oh, and more importantly, where are you doing this from? I'd like to see some locations in the comments box over here. Just like Mayan's always first in this comments box, hasn't missed one. Has she missed one yet? I don't think she's missed one since 2 years, right? One. She missed one. That's right. We're counting, Mayan. We got Chris Williams out there and the rest of the Tito Clockers. We got Leo Mendoza, Michael C. Come on, let me see some locations. I don't want exact ones. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg or anything. I'm not trying to get your data and sell it to others. I just want to know, kind of get a mental picture of where people are listening from, because I know we get them all the way from Sydney, we get them from Dubai, we get them from London, we get them from Singapore, we get them from everywhere. So pop it in. And of course, we've got, you see, Mitch is from Singapore. We got from Cebu, Lexi. We've also got, of course, QC. We cannot and will not forget our folks who are here with us in Metro Manila on what is turning out to be a pretty wet afternoon. I can't see from my window. X, can you see from yours? Is it wet out there? Gloomy? Rainy? What's it looking like in your spot of the world, right? Tell us also what the weather's like over there. And let's get this all sort of started. You know what? We still got an hour to go with all of this, and there's still so much to pack in, right? So we've got the typical stuff that you all come to love, like the Free Plug Friday. We've got the Ask Me Anything portion coming up. We've got Reader's Mail as well. And of course, we've got that grand raffle at the end, which a lot of you have been drawing out, or should I say joining, which is the wanbo projector, because it is such a little compact little productivity tool and entertainment tool as well. So I'm looking forward to, or Brock, of course, is looking forward to giving that away at the end of the show. But we'll always start, as we always do, by getting on the same page and finding what's happening out in our great big world out there. For that, we need Chris with the latest in headlines. Chris, what you got for us?
James, yes, it's a gloomy day here in Quezon City, but happy Friday to my fellow Tito Clockers. This is Chris, and here is your Tito Clock News. President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. announced on Thursday new appointments to his economic team, emphasizing his incoming administration's focus on steering the economy out of a slump. Marcos Jr. is nominating Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP Governor Benjamin Diokno as his Finance Secretary and former National Economic Development Authority or NEDA Chief Felipe Medalla as BSP Governor. During the press briefing with selected media practitioners, Marcos also named former UP President Alfredo Pascual as Trade Secretary and Manuel Bonoan, Chief Executive of San Miguel Tollways Corporation, as Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH. Marcos noted that Bonoan has spent almost his entire professional life in the DPWH. Earlier, Philippine Competition Commission Chief Arsenio Balisacan was tapped to return to his old job as Economic Planning Secretary and head NEDA. Marcos also named longtime friend and former Davao del Norte Representative Antonio Anton Lagdameo Jr. as Special Assistant to the President. Incoming Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno expressed confidence that the country can easily outgrow its debt, stressing the need to focus on sustaining economic growth rather than raising taxes. According to Diokno, the country's tax structure is much better than before. Diokno said the country needs to get back on its economic growth trajectory and be able to sustain it to allow higher tax collection. He added that the focus should be to sustain growth because by sustaining growth, you solve your tax problem because when the economy is growing, our tax collection is also growing. It's what economists call elastic. The higher the growth, the higher the tax collection. Philippine Airlines or PAL will soon host the first ever direct flights within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARMM. Beginning June 9, the flag carrier said its Cotabato-Tawi-Tawi-Cotabato route would operate twice a week. The travel gateways for the new service are Cotabato's Awang Airport and Tawi-Tawi's Sanga-Sanga Airport. While Airbus 320 aircraft would fly the passengers between locations, offering business class and economy seating. BARMM Chief Minister Ahod Al-Haj Murad Ibrahim welcomed the development, noting that it could support the tourism industry of the region. Ellen DeGeneres bid a tearful farewell to her daytime talk show on Thursday, saying that the show had forever changed her life. DeGeneres opened the last hour of the Ellen DeGeneres show by discussing the progress that had been made since the series premiered in 2003, noting that she couldn't say gay on the show when it started or make a reference to her wife, Portia de Rossi, because gay marriage wasn't legal. DeGeneres promised that she wouldn't be gone for long. The program incorporated clips from DeGeneres' 3,200 episodes, including her tearfully thanking the audience after taping her first episode, as well as other highlights of her career. DeGeneres' guests included Jennifer Aniston, who was her first guest when the show started. The Ellen DeGeneres Show is distributed by Warner Brothers Television. The Kelly Clarkson Show will move into DeGeneres' time slot. Those were the latest in headlines. Take deep breaths and drink your water, people, because it's time for Kamote Corner. Where are you, Tito James? Oh, there you are, Tito James. Stop hiding.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
It's safe. It's safe.
It's
It's
safe?
safe. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go. I haven't eaten yet, so a little few camotes might do some good. Okay,
Oh my
what we got
goodness.
there, Chris?
Deep breaths muna, Tito James. Okay, yan. Drink your water. Stay hydrated so you'll stay cool. All right, Tito James. The first one is called Overtake Fail.
Yeah, so this. I was trying to wonder what was going on here.
Yeah, I had to.
What's going on with the what's what? Yeah, I saw this. Kanina. I didn't post it because I didn't actually understand what's going on. Why is the guy in the left lane stopping? What's
I'm not
yeah,
sure also.
I'm not. I wasn't sure how to read this one. Is it one? They've all got their hazard lights on again, which is I hate. You see, because you don't know nga. You don't know what's going on. There's an emergency or not because everyone's got the same message going on, right? That's one of the big issues about keeping your hazard lights on in the rain.
True.
And I don't know. Are these two playing games there? Because this is the fast lane, the overtaking lane. This car shouldn't stop unless I can't see if there's cars in front of him. But anyway, moral of the story is several here. Even if we don't know the whole backstory here, moral of the story:
All right.
don't use hazard lights in the rain. Please don't use them. Don't. I don't. It doesn't matter what you've been told. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's legally wrong. Just don't do it. Number two, keep a distance, especially in the rain. Keep an extra distance between you and the car in
Yes.
front. There's usually a 2-second rule. Make it a 4-second rule in the rain. And the 4-second rule, for those who are new to this, you basically pick an object on the side of the road, right? Like you usually pick a lamppost or a tree. And when the car in front of you crosses that post, right? You look, and that's your measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4. That post should now be where you are. That's a 4-second gap. Okay, that's how you do it because that's for any speed that you're driving at. It's the same. It'll just extrapolate from there. And then of course, if you're doing that, then make sure you check when you are overtaking. Make sure that there's nobody on your right or your left, although you shouldn't be overtaking on the right anyway. But the thing is, it looked to me like this guy had to do an emergency brake around the guy. That's how I read it.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. That's a lot of things to take away. There's 4 things to remember there. Don't use your hazards. Keep your distance. Well, 3 things left. Don't use your hazards in the rain. Keep extra distance in the wet. And
Yep.
just use the proper overtaking lane for proper reason. Okay.
Yes. Noted with thanks, Tito James. And I think that's a good hack also, especially for me who don't drive. I mean, if I'm gonna start driving, I can
Last
I can
time.
remember that one. The
You remember those?
lamppost
don't
and
use
4-second thing.
Yes, and overtaking lane, just to clear that up again, make sure that there are new drivers watching all the time. The
Yes.
overtaking lane is for overtaking only. Now, there's a lot of
Yes.
people that still get taught, kung nasa speed limit naman ako, di okay na. No, that's not, that has nothing to do with it. If you're not
Yeah.
overtaking, you get back on the other lane and you keep
Mm.
that free. Eh, paano kung mabilis sila? That's their problem, not yours, okay?
Sure.
That's their problem, not yours. When you're finished overtaking, go back. Kung baga, if you're a guy, try to picture it in a urinal. If you're not ready to go, don't stand in front of the urinal because habang ng pila mo sa likod. You can see people just dying to go and you're just standing there and occupying valuable space when you're not
Yes.
ready to use it. Move aside until you're ready and then go back to the urinal and pee. Or maybe I could have used like a Starbucks analogy at the counter, but the first thing that came was the urinals. Sorry.
It's okay, Tito James. Not everybody goes to Starbucks. Char!
Para
Anyway.
inclusive, no? Para inclusive naman.
Pero inclusive for everyone. Everyone goes to the urinals one way or another.
Yes.
So, inclusivity is key. Thank you so
Inclusivity.
much for that one, Tito James. All right,
Okay.
you ready for the next one? This is called If You See the Lights, You Are in the Right Truck.
Okay. All right. Okay. Another one.
You're
Another
in
one.
the right truck, baby. I was born this way. Hey.
Wala akong masabi. It's self-explanatory. There's nothing to add to this. I mean, this is obviously the guy should be using it as backup lights, but yeah, they wire them like this now and blind people behind them. Not cool.
It's true. That's true. Not cool. Everybody, don't blind people behind you.
Yeah. Remember,
All right.
love is love, but it doesn't have to be in love.
Ay, nako, Tito.
All right, good joke. Let's
You've only
go.
just begun. Okay. The next one is called Slow Claps for You, sir or ma'am.
Uy, okay to ah.
Galing.
Ay, nako po. Is this Imus Cavite Police or is this mobile? Oh my God.
I
Oh
think-
my God, doble pa. I just noticed it's also a handicap pa.
Yep.
Oh
Double
wow.
violation by yan, Tito James.
Yeah, it's really a double violation, split personality. I don't know what else to add to this. Like really, even if it's not a busy car park, why? Why does it take? It takes just as much effort to park properly as it does now. In this case, to park like an engot. So I really don't know why.
Hangot indeed. Ay, nako, sir, ma'am. Ayos po tayo.
Sir, ma'am.
Be a good influence. Practice what you preach.
Opo.
No plate pa. That's correct.
Oh,
Right.
meron pang no food pa. Oh.
Yes, no plate pa. So, that's what? 3 violations already? Okay. Let's move to the next one. It's called, when I saw it, I just say, nice plate. I heart golf.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wrong with golf, but it's not something that you want to replace your plate with. But this is I don't know. Every time there's a new administration, no matter who it is, I have a little hope that maybe things will change. I'm hoping again that maybe things will change. We'll get something that actually starts cracking down on this in the way that they should do. Because I've said it before, I'll say it again. When you're dealing with road discipline, everything permeates from there. This is the most democratic space. If you can't instill discipline on the roads, you're gonna have a very hard time disciplining everywhere else. Because this is
Sure.
base layer, super base layer. All levels of society share the road. So we have to at least start there. And then later on, as we move up, it's just going to be very hard to be strict on other things when we just let go of the basics. So
Yes.
that's why we could get a very strong transport secretary or LTO chief, or I think it
Yes.
requires a concerted effort, to be fair. I don't think just one LTO chief will be able to do the job. It requires a concerted effort of a vision of the entire transport department. As well as, of course, the culture of government that we are, because it has to support it. It's not going to be easy. You got to clamp down, you have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. But we do clamp down. We have a lot of these oplan this and oplan that, and it just fades out all the time. It just goes through a little press blitz, and then after they get their credit, and then they look foggy on TV, they just go back to the same thing. No, it needs consistency to show, guys, we're serious about this. And you watch. I'm telling you, you watch. If you can instill discipline on that layer, you watch, the country will change. Because if they know they can get away with it there, it just builds on that. And discipline is something that you sacrifice what you want today for what you need tomorrow. So this is why it's very important to be able to build it on blocks slowly, from the road to the next layer to the next layer. Because once people have an investment in the discipline, meaning if I'm following the law and I can't get away with it, we become self-policing in a way, because we will call out that don't, because we feel that our investment is being violated. Our investment is respected by those who are not following. But as soon as you see one soot, just one, and that could be the smoky bus, it could be the swerving bus, it could be the politician with his convoy, or the VIPs with their wang-wangs. Wala na. You're not going to get anywhere, because people are just going to go consciously, no, this is just it's all a charade. It's all just who you know and whatever. And back, we fall back. You see what I'm getting at? It's a bigger picture than just traffic. Okay.
Amen to that, Tito James. Dahil dyan, magpe-petition na kami na ikaw na lang yung head ng
I want muna, ma'am, sir. You see these gray hair? It's just as much as I can do right now. No more. I don't need any more.
Baka lang. Madadagdagan ng gray hairs mo, tapos lahat ng mga tao magiging black yung hair. Kasi nabawasan sila ng problema because of you. Yay! All right. Whoo! Okay, so we're down to the last one, and I couldn't think of any caption anymore. I just said, siklista nga kasi. Siklista nga naman, di ba?
That's actually quite. Oh.
And I think I saw this Jeep already. I think I saw this particular Jeep already.
Okay, we need to repost that on the main page. Thank you, whoever sent that. That is tragically funny and ironic, but yeah.
Tragic indeed. Ay nako. Anyway, that's the last of it, and once again, we made it! Gusto mo pa ba, Tito James? More pa?
Well, no, because I just paced myself, so now I have nothing left in the emotional bank.
Joke lang. That's all for today. So thank you, Tito James. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. And of course, once again, advance congratulations to our raffle winners. Avoid kamote people, but always choose happiness with some Sugar Rush. Follow me on my social media, people, and follow Sugar Rush Entertainment PH. You see it down there. It's scrolling. And of course, remember to stay safe, healthy, and hydrated. This is Chris. See you guys. Bye!
Woohoo! And that was Chris with the latest in headlines. As we always say, if you want to get Chris for your voiceovers, or perhaps host some of your children's parties, etc. online, hook her up. We'll hook you up right there. Just check out this scroll over here. You can get a hold of her. And this is our little way of spreading things around. Oh, another way that we spread things around the community. I should also say that our news is brought to you by our friends at Lion Insurance. So thank you very much for that. This show wouldn't be on the road without you. And also, this is one of the other ways that we like to sort of get that community spirit going. It's what we call Free Plug Friday, where we give an opportunity for our friends out there who have pivoted, people who just need a little helping hand in getting the word out while they try something new. And this is why we dedicated this space. We call it Free Plug Friday. For that, we need X. X! What you got in the box there, X?
Hi, Tito James. We actually have a lot in store once again. But before we go there, I just want to say hi to all the blockers. Welcome to another edition of Free Plug Friday.
Buenos dias!
What? All right, please rise on the screen. Tito James, if there's one thing I really missed during the pandemic, is it's randomly looking for a fishball or squid ball vendor on the street.
Oh,
and,
naman,
yeah. Right? And good thing, Nanay Mira's tusok-tusok sauce can provide not just the sauce, but the actual products being sold and cooked by those fishbowl vendors as well.
You make tusok the fishbowl.
I know, right? Anyway, guys, Nanay Nila's Tusok sauce offers the San Jose fishball, of course the squid ball, chicken balls, kikiam, and even the sweet and spicy sauce that you can choose from depending on your mood. Guys, price is 70 pesos each for 500 grams of chicken balls, squid balls, kikiam. It's 90 pesos for 1 kilo of fish balls, and it's pesos for 350 ml sauce, and it's 120 pesos for 500 ml sauce. You can choose again, sweet and spicy. They even offer sets as well that come in a super nice bayong. Again, Nanay Mila's Tusok sauce on Facebook and Instagram. Next, we go to Root Empanada Special. So Root's Empanada started in 2013 as a side hustle, but has now expanded, and they're currently offering more variants. And they sent over empanadas with 3 different fillings, such as the classic chicken with cheese, and tuna melt. How did you find these, Tito James?
Wow, yeah, these were really good. I enjoyed it, as you can see. This as well.
And you're getting a massage too. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Exactly. So I was really getting pampered that time. Love it. It's always good to have empanadas, and yeah, they had different flavors and stuff.
And look at the filling.
Yeah,
pretty generous, right?
Sometimes they really skimp there. It's just a lot of hot air inside.
Literally. Exactly. And my favorite, Tito James, would actually have to be the classic chicken. Which one did you like, Tito James?
Also the chicken as well.
Oh, really?
I thought that was the chicken and cheese.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty interesting. So guys, price starts at 310 pesos for a box of 10, and they also offer other ham and cheese, as well as the ham, bacon, and cheese. Again, Roots Empanada Special on Facebook and Instagram. Next, we go to Hungry Gabby PH. So guys, Hungry Gabby PH is an online store that's been around since, get this, 2011. That started as a chicharon business, but now offers frozen delis such as lechon belly, sausages, longganisa, and tapa, and local deli as pasalubong, such as the ones they sent at the studio, such as the okoy, Spanish sardines, gourmet tuyo, chili oil, honey, burro manga, and robusta coffee. How did you find the okoy, Tito James? You're munching on that.
It's good. It's good stuff. You know what I actually also like the okoy for? Obviously, you just can eat it, as a snack on its own, right? But you know what? If you have like a pancit or stuff like that, and then you chop it up,
good idea.
It gives it that crunch
instead of a chicharron.
Exactly, it feels healthier. I would imagine it is, right?
You just found a hack, Tito James. Actually,
I tried it. That's why. Go.
Hey, yes.
Yeah.
Great idea, guys. Okay, Hungry Gabby.
I'm gonna patent it right now. That's
idea from Tito James for sure. All right, guys. So good thing also is Hungry Gabby supports the local industry because it also partners up with home chefs, farmers, and even fishermen as well. So hope you can support them as well, since they also are planning to launch Hungry Gabby Roasters and Fryers. Again, Hungry Gabby PH on Facebook and Instagram. Next, we go to 27 Garage. So 27 Garage offers toy collectibles, which are actually the previous or current collection of the owner himself. So check out these photos, Tito James. So
I love this. This is so Tito. No, really, these are like
in a good way.
No, in a good way. My heart. Well, I'm talking mostly about the older cars, like the Land Cruiser is. Really a nice one. Well, the Ford Bronco, that's new.
Okay.
This one, that Land Cruiser, check that out.
Wow, so it's super classic.
Yeah,
right?
and of course you got race cars and stuff. Everyone loves that. But my heart immediately is drawn, should I say, to that Land Cruiser.
Just imagine like this collection of Hot Wheels and stuff. So guys, the price range of between 250 pesos to 1,000 pesos, depending on the model, of course. So for those who are interested in getting their first ever toy collectible, or for those who want to add to their collection, check them out by sending them a message on 27 Garage on Facebook. Last but not the least, we go to Uniserv Outsourcing Corp. So Uniserv Outsourcing Corp started last July 2021, and they provide cleaning services for residential and commercial establishments. Some services they offer are general cleaning, carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, facility disinfection, and even pest control. So price varies depending on the type of service and how big the area is. But for reference, start at 750 pesos for a small residential rug, Price starts at 7,500 pesos for general cleaning up to 99 square meters, and price starts at 6,500 to 99 square meters of office carpet. Again, hope you can check them out, Uniserv Outsourcing Corp on Facebook, or you can check them out on their website. Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of Free Plug Friday. Stay safe and always sanitize the lockers. This is X. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Woo!
Woo! Rocket, rocket, rocket,
We gonna
rocket.
start this, everybody.
Where's that Spanish is coming from?
That was Free Plug Friday with X, and thank you very much to all of those who have sent their products in. As a matter of fact, if you have one that you'd like to be featured on the show, we don't charge anything, because if we did, you kind of have to change the name, right? It wouldn't make sense. Free Plug Friday, but oh no, we could call it Fee Plug Friday. Yeah, but we wouldn't do that, right? The whole idea is to help people who are just starting out. So if you're a small business and you want to get a little bit of free advertising, pop us a message on here. You can see it scrolling as well, Deaconitis on Instagram, and X will take care of you there. And yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. Which brings us to our portion now we call Ask Me Anything. Well, actually, not just we. The whole internet calls it Ask Me Anything. And it's brought to you by Motolite. Pang Matagalan! Alrighty, what you got there, X? The Ask Me Anything, where you can just, yes. If you have a review, you go 388 of your base, also on the after-sales service availability of parts, etc. This is the current, the very latest one that was launched in US, right? I don't have a direct personal review of it because I haven't tried it. I love the design of it. I gotta say, it's really, really nice. As far as after sales service, I don't have also any personal experience with it, so I can't really tell you. But in fairness, I don't receive many complaints, or even proportionate, because obviously they sell a lot less than you would a BMW or other European cars. But I still keep into account the proportion of complaints versus the amount of market share they have. So in fairness to them, I don't hear anything disproportionate in terms of service. So that's good. But yeah, that's about as much as I can give you there, I'm afraid. Anything else I'd be making it up. Or just based on what I read. That's not what you want, right? You want what I personally thought of it. Well, that's what I think. On design, great, fantastic, looks awesome. On service, I've just shared that. And for longevity and reliability and quality, well, I'll ask them for a test drive, and then I'll be able to get back to you on that. Okay. Paris, we're rainy Friday for the Tito Clockers. Juan says, what's your secret to looking young? Filters. We have all these filters on StreamYard. I actually look really old in real life. No, actually, thank you for asking. Zib Navares. I've started going to Skinabay, and this is something that I didn't really, I've never thought of, to be honest. I don't place a lot of importance on skincare or men's beauty products, etc. But when they did reach out, because they did think that they could do something to detitofy me, X was able to convince me to go, and I went there under sufferance, because I was like, ang tunay na lalaki ay hindi nagpapaganda, or whatever that goes like. But they were saying, no, that's not true. You got to take care of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, etc. And so I started going, and yes, you're not the only one that's mentioned that, they do some tightening sometimes, they do some facials and stuff, and then they give me rituals to do at night, and it is kind of working. So if you've noticed, thank you. So Skinabay, they're in Solera. Does driving on neutral save fuel? Yes, it does, but there's a trade-off, right? You can't, if you're going downhill, right? Because obviously driving neutral won't get you anywhere if you're on level ground or going uphill. So we're just assuming you're going downhill, Myla. Yes, of course it will, but not much more than it would keeping it in gear. Because if you just get off the gas and you're coasting in fifth or fourth or however fast you're allowed to go down that hill, it's negligible. But the difference here, Myla, is when you don't use a gear and you're coasting and put it into neutral, you're going to put excessive amount of wear and tear and strain on your brake pads. So yes, gas is expensive, but so are brake pads. And another thing about brake pads is they can overheat. So will brake fluid, right? So if you're going down a long hill, let's just say even something like, if you're coming down from Baguio, would be a great example. If you're coming down from Baguio, you would not have to use your drive at all, right? You'd be able to all the way down to Rosario, the base of the Cannon Road or Marcos Highway. You just let it roll, right? You would be putting so much strain on your brakes that one quarter down that road or less, you would start to overheat and your brakes would lose bite. Not a good thing to do. So always keep it in gear and don't use neutral when you're coasting or driving on the road. Just let it coast in gear. Trust me, it's whatever you think you might save, you're going to pay for an extra brake fluid or worse, in an accident. You have, oh wow, John, yeah, thank you. You have nice teeth, Tita James. Who is your dentist? My dentist is GAOC, Dr. Gan, and his awesome team over there. These guys have been taking care of me for about 5 years now, I think. And yes, they were able to fix some broken. I had a couple of broken teeth here before, and they were able to fix it and match it up perfectly. So I'm very, very grateful to these guys because they take it very, very seriously. I've seen dental work that looks perfect in the way, but then when they put them in, it just looks unnatural. So these guys do a great job. GAOC. Okay, not GAOC. It's GAOC. Very, very good. You look 30s. Thank you. Wow. Even with the hair, huh? Even with the white hair. Thank you. What's my favorite car? Wow, there's so many. I always answer this question in a couple of layers I have to answer with, because if you're asking me like for practical purposes, meaning you had one car but you really had to drive that and just that, I would have to go for a sport SUV, sport utility vehicle of some kind, like a Cayenne, or probably a Cayenne, because I love the Aventador, or sorry, should I say the Urus Lamborghini, but it's just too ostentatious if we're being realistic about it. But now if you're just dreaming away, well, there is the Pagani Cinque, or the Pagani Zonda F, cars like that. But we're talking already, what, 2-3 million euros worth of car, and you could only use it on the racetrack or limited, very, very limited applications for it. So that's why I always break it down and say, well, do I have to live with this car for the rest of my life? Is it just one car? Are we talking about real world situation or just pure fantasy? So there you go. If it was something like I had to live with, a Cayenne probably. Seems like a nice. But then again, the new Range Rovers look nice, huh? I'm just saying. But then I know that the Cayennes, because they are just so capable. Like, they're really capable and they're not fragile. Some of these very expensive sports cars and stuff, they're too fragile. So I kind of really like the fact that Porsches are almost unbreakable. Going back, there was one question before that. The cats. What was it? Do you like cats or just dogs? I had 3 cats. 3? Yeah, 3. 3 cats. And 2 dogs. So I don't know if that answers the question. I do like both. But I'll have to admit, I didn't start out liking cats as much as dogs. I was always just solely a dog person, and dog. And then eventually we got a Scottish Fold for my daughter. And this cat was just so lambing and so sweet. And it was a different personality to all the other cats I'd seen before. So they're very, very, very docile, sweet, and not that typical sort of snooty type of cat. And so I started to appreciate that kind of pet. Because here's one thing I also learned about cats. With dogs, because what I loved about dogs is they are just the most pure creatures as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you could be a drug dealer, you could be a criminal, it doesn't matter what you do. If they're human, and as long as you treat them well, you're not abusing them, they'll love you. They just love you unconditionally. They come to the door, they lick you, they're all over you. They got no dignity. They're just all over you, right? And I love that. I think that's what makes me love dogs. On the flip side, cats are completely opposite normally. I'm just being stereotyped, right? Cats, you gotta work for their love. You gotta work for their affection. You gotta work for their attention. I mean, they're so, in some ways, so snooty that there's that saying that dogs have owners and cats have staff, right? Because that's how they act. It's like you work for them, right? And yet, I'll tell you, the first time, like, the cat actually comes up on your lap and starts making them bing, you feel so, oh, wow, I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of this. So does that make sense? It's like you feel like you've earned it because it's taken so long. It's not given straight away like a dog. So I can see the appeal of both. So to answer your question, I'm still a little more of a dog person, if I'm very honest, but I've really developed an appreciation and love for cats. What are the vitamins of Cutie Rocket? I'm asking his mom. Because for those who don't know, Rocket's not actually my dog. A lot of people think Rocket's my dog. It's not. It's X's. Huh? LCBit? Brevecto. Heart Guard. McCarty Clears and stuff like that. Okay. So I hope you heard all that. And that answers that. Do you think the government should encourage people to use bicycles to lessen traffic? I think every government should do it, not just our government. But Edward, we've talked about this a few times in the show. You know, you can't just encourage. You have to develop a strategy for it. This is just something that needs a long-term vision and a long-term commitment on what kind of behavior you want to drive with your citizenry, right? So if you have a plan like Amsterdam did, and now Amsterdam has far more bicycles use than cars, right? Far more. The ratio is really skewed towards bicycles. That didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen also just by them encouraging. They had to incentivize. They had to make the infrastructure for them, and then they had to court them into using it in the same way that they do in Japan, where it just becomes a lot more efficient to use a bicycle than the car. That way nobody feels forced. You're just going the path of least resistance. That's how humans work best, is if you create a path of least resistance, they will follow that path. So that's what planners do. That's what governments are supposed to do when they're creating programs, is they have to work with what is the best way to drive this behavior, right? I'm assuming in a democratic space, right? Because if you're not, then you can just tell them what to do. But generally speaking, we get more by being enticed. We get more by incentivizing than penalizing. Here, we're always the other way around. Multa, 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 not multa. And people just don't generally cooperate as much. So to answer your question very simply, yes, I think they should. But the more complex thing there is it requires a whole lot more than encouragement. It requires also the infrastructure and development. Is it worth your money to buy Chinese cars today? Michael C. asked. Yes, it is. But not all Chinese brands are created equal. So you really have to be very careful also on the kind of brands that you're dealing with. So while there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, I would think like I'll be honest, I am at the process of, I'm very close to considering like actually signing over and getting a Chinese car now to replace Max. If I do, I'll let you know exactly what that car is when I finally do it. And so yes, I am contemplating it. There is definitely value in them, but you have to choose carefully on the brand. Who's the distributor of the brand here as well? It's not just a global brand. You must really know the track record of that brand here, because it's easy to come in with all the bells and whistles and then get out, right? This happened before with the first version of Cherry. They came in, they sold really cheap, and then they just left. And then now they're rebuilding again, and they're having a very hard time rebuilding because, they're building on, they have to make up for that as well. So this is why I'm going to stick with only the top Chinese brands in the country. And when you say Chinese brands, a lot of cars, are not Chinese, but they're made in China, right? Almost so many of them. You get lost count already. Even a lot of the European cars can be made in China. But you have to consider what their brand values are here, because that's what's going to protect you down the line. Servicing, after sales, and all that kind of jazz. So I guess the simplest way to answer your question, yes, it's still worth considering, but still proceed with caution, because not all brands are the same. and you got to make them also establish themselves to show that they're here for the long run. Will the hydrogen cars and or electric cars be the next thing in the automotive? Yes, but yes, definitely. Hydrogen, maybe not because of the expense, but eventually when that cost comes down, for sure. But we're far, far, far from that as a mainstream solution, James. I've driven a hydrogen car in Tokyo on the racetrack and in Fuji Speedway, and it's amazing. Zero. Talk about zero emissions. These are zero emissions, because you can't even say that about electric cars. Electric cars are not zero emission. They are zero emission from the tailpipe, yes, but they're not zero emission in overall package, right? You've got to go from the whole life cycle of the vehicle, and there is definitely, some carbon footprint that they're going to create trying to generate the power for that car, or the power for that electricity that powers that car, etc. So it is coming here, and good news is we've been talking to some manufacturers recently. In fact, we had one long talk today with a manufacturer too, who are really coming in aggressively to electrify the space. So we can see the movement already. We already see people like SM putting it into their malls. They were really expanding. They launched with a few malls here, 4 malls in Metro Manila, and eventually they're going into Baguio, Clark. I think that's already this month, or have they already done it? Was it May or June? If it's not May, it's definitely June, because we did the launch last month, and I'm pretty sure they said it was May when Baguio would be open, and also Clark. So you can see if SM rolls it out, it's a good time to get your. You can see where it's going. Mass adoption is about to happen soon. So that's my opinion. How long it'll take will depend, of course, on the taxation, the pricing, and the infrastructure that is set up. I know Nissan is already gearing up to do their own infrastructure as well for charging stations as well. They're looking heavily into that. So you can see that we're all pushing in that direction. And so, yes, I see it as the way of the future for sure. Not sure if you saw my earlier question about the disappearing lanes on the Skyway 3 northbound, Skyway 3 northbound. I'm trying to picture it, but I think I know exactly what you mean. If you ask me, I think I don't want to say the Skyway's poorly designed, because they do have a lot of restrictions to work with. I do know that was a very big problem in terms of basically the space they were given, the footprints they were allowed to work with, etc. But okay, you remove the difficulties aside, because that should have been part of better urban planning from the beginning. Yes, I do generally think that it is poorly designed, because, and this is not a hit against San Miguel, by the way, just in case, it's not. It's just maybe that's what they have to work with. Yeah, benefit of the doubt, I'm pretty sure that is. But the problem is, you got how can you have a 60 speed limit on the Skyway? It doesn't make sense. They said, because of, the narrowness. Well, then that comes down to poor design for an elevated road, because it is an elevated road with no crossings, with no intersections, no traffic lights. So therefore, it should have a speed limit of about minimum 80 and then 120. That should be, if you're going international, about 110 or 120 speed limit, but we're down to 60. And that shows because it's just too thin for what it is. It's too narrow. So the disappearing lanes, I have seen a few of them. And yes, it is kind of, minsan nabibiglaan ka lang, and that can cause a problem. But just to be fair, I think that maybe it's fair to say that they're just doing the best that they with the tools that they've been given, or the space they've been given to work with, and the restrictions that they have. So that's what we're left with. I mean, because if you also go, and again, not personal, but let's say, look at the design of the Magallanes on-ramp going south. This one coming from the bottom where the Shell station is, you climb up, and if you're going to Alabang, the people who are going to the airport, what do? I mean, who designed that, right? That point of conflict is ridiculous. You have to cross each other to the point where they put guards there to stop people in the sky. It's just crazy. It's just ridiculous. I think it's really poorly thought out, and so is they have also a toll plaza that they don't use somewhere there. So there are still a few things that if I had the opportunity, oh my God, there would be a lot of cleaning up there. A lot of cleaning. Oh my God. What can you say about the plan of having tax on cryptocurrency? Farouk Garcia. Farouk. Oh man, do we have enough time for this? How many raffles have we got aside from the projector? Just a projector?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I had to make sure because, ooh, this can get. I know crypto's crashing right now, so there's a lot. It's a pretty not a great time to be talking about crypto. But how do you go from this is a scam, this is not real money, this is just all toy money and blah 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 to we're taxing your crypto? You see, it's one or the other. It's either you think it's legit or you don't think it's legit, but it is legit, obviously, if you're already looking at a tax onto it. Now, if you ask my personal opinion on it, I think it is too early to do that. I think it should be, and I haven't seen the tax proposal that they have for it. I don't think it should be completely tax-free because obviously it allows for an opportunity to move your money out of the country, which is a bit of a problem. Let's just say if you trade crypto last year, you need to report your tax return. This is on what country? One of the misconceptions. Yeah, is it? Huh? What country is this from next? Okay, because America for sure, they got to do that, right? Over here, it should be like it should be done like as the fairest way I think is as a capital gains, but it's very difficult to account that because how do you know exactly what you made on it? It's very difficult, but in theory, I'm not saying that they shouldn't tax it because it is still an investment, but it should have clever tax structure because they can't just tax the capital gains and then ignore the capital losses, right? That doesn't seem to make sense for me because it seems like in other countries, that's what they're trying to do. So and in America, they were trying to tax unrealized capital gains, which is so stupid because I've got unrealized gym gains right now, right? I don't go to the gym. So those are unrealized gains. It doesn't mean it shows up on me, no. But that's what they want. They want to charge you on what you haven't made yet, because that's once you cash it out, that's the only time that they should charge you for it. But how do they work out the actual profit you made from it? That's where I don't understand. Because we've been buying Bitcoin for let's say 5 years, right? And you've been dollar cost averaging into your Bitcoin, which means you're just simply putting in a certain amount every month or every week or whatever interval you set. And that's your forced savings, right? And then that means you're buying it at different rates every week or every month, every time you're putting it down. And 5 years later, you take money out because you want to either buy a house or go on a holiday or something. How did they work the capital gains out in that? Because what is your profit? That I can't figure out how they're going to do. So there you go. For now, I would give it some space to study it. And they're planning the money in 2024 from what I was seeing. It's not the money immediate, it's 2024. So hopefully that works out. Okay. Okay. Because I'm all right, where are we, X? I think is that the last question? Do we have enough time for a raffle? Yes, we do. Will you try to bike a BGC? I always bike in BGC. I bike in BGC. I do e-scooter in BGC, and before I used to run in BGC. But yeah, I do. I like to bike at BGC. I think it's not where I like to bike to work out. I would bike to get places and stuff because if I work out, I would rather go to places like I try to sneak into the villages because the nearby villages they got nice hills and it's not a lot of traffic. But okay, next. Otherwise, we move on to the quant. UFC, 100%. I'm not into NBA, I'm embarrassed to say, but I love UFC. That's my thing. And Formula One. Those are my favorite TV sports. Because I don't do either, professional. I don't actually fight people and drive. What's my nationality, po? Okay. My dad's British and my mother is Filipina, and I was born here. So I always used to like to say, I'm made in the Philippines with imported parts. Whatcha, CKD. Assembled. So there you go. So Filipino British is the simplest way to answer that. Okay. Thank you, Abba. Thank you, everybody, for asking that. And thank you, of course, Motolay! Ang matagalan! Oh, we're going to have So now it's time for everybody's favorite course of the show. It's everybody's making this that didn't come along. Woohoo! All right, Rocket, meet your fans. Rocket ship is going to be raffling off. It's just the projector, right? Okay, well, that's plenty. Stay there, Rocket. I'm just going to show them the projector because some people might have been confused because we showed two projectors, one that I reviewed and the one that they're giving away. And this is the one they're giving away. And these things here are really fantastic. I think every household should have one if you can. I'll tell you why. It's because it just makes it a lot easier to do things like, well, if you're in business, you can use it for project stuff on the wall, makes you the bigger picture. You can watch movies and stuff like that. But some people I've noticed, and you can Google a lot of this or YouTube a lot of this. Some people, they put like atmospheric moods on their walls or the ceilings, right? That also works really well. You can put like stars or the galaxy or the Milky Way and Aurora Borealis and all this kind of jazz. You know, it really does anything you want. Some people actually put on a white wall, and I've done this as well, just for a little bit of atmosphere. You project a window, like you pick a snowy window or a rainy window or a window of a cityscape or something like that, and just put it on a blank wall. And it does wonders for the mood of a place. There you go. He's whoop, 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 whoop. All right, Rocket. Okay. Here we go. You got work to do, buddy. Why are you looking? And he's looking. The bug net?
Yes, it came fresh.
Okay, so I think this is why. From where? Hungry Gabby sent this?
Yes, there, the Instagram and Facebook.
Wow, look at that.
Freshly cooked.
Freshly cooked bug net, Rocket. Look at that. Wow. No wonder you're so friendly. You can smell it, right? Yeah, Rocket. Look at these eyes. He's following this thing. Give me some of the bug net. Rocket, you ready? Because people are really they're really here just for the major draw. Okay, and you see what you have to do. I will feed you after. I promise. Here's your little treats. Ready? Before we do that, we'd like to thank our friends from Modelife, Patron, AutoKid, Ogawa, Lala Move, Malayan Insurance, and of course, Skinny. You ready, Rocket? Dun dun dun. I will. Here you go, Rocket. Rocket's item interested in winning looking at his food. Wow, Taurus. Look at Rocket. You're not even speaking first. You just like, give me my food. Who is that? Lau Taurus? Congratulations, Lau. Congratulations. And you know what's oh man, you are very lucky. And if you had that in your Ogawa chair and you're watching your projected film on the ceiling, it's the best feeling ever. I've done that before. It's like this portion here is brought to you by Ogawa. And I tell you what, Ogawa has this zero gravity feature where you just press one button and it does this zero gravity. So you feel like you're suspended with no effort whatsoever, which means you're facing the ceiling. And if you have a blank ceiling, like just a clear white ceiling, wow, it's perfect. Project that image up, any image you want. You can watch movies, you can watch the stars if you want to do that, like the galaxy and all that kind of jazz. Fantastic. And remember, if it's not an Ogawa chair and it's a fake one, it's a Kawawa chair, right? All right, that's it. That wraps up. Huh? Oh yeah, if you win, it's Lau, right? Lau, what is it, Taurus? Lau Taurus. Okay, Lau Taurus. Lau, if you're out there, what we need you to do is we need to send your screenshot. If you have 24 hours to claim this prize, right? Send it to this place over here, to Rocket's IG. It's at the.rocket.launcher, right? And the reason we do that is because we don't want to clog up well, it's not that we don't want to clog up. We don't want to lose your message. Because if it goes to the main page, the Facebook page, we could kind of lose track of your message, and we don't want that. So that's the fastest way to get a hold of us if you win the raffle. If you don't, you can tune in next week. We'll be doing this all over again. So till then, folks, stay safe and be kind to one another. Bye.
Fancy meeting you in my internet. Couldn't help but notice your smile, while everybody else around us is surfing about. Can we just stop and chat a while? Get away from these gray and boring, lonesome days of our quarantine. Early yet to say what lies ahead. It's just the first day of the rest of our lives. Love could be waiting at the end of this quarantine. Let's stop and talk a while. Let's stop and talk a while.